Hey, you all, it's Sunday. It's Sunday evening, and I read all my comics this week. And I did it. I did it. I read all my comics. I did it. And I'm going to tell you about what I read right now. This is the officially unofficial geek channel. That's me. I'm the officially unofficial geek, and my name is Carrie Quinn. As always, if you're new here, please like and share if you have been here. Thanks, guys. Hi, come. Thanks for coming. Yeah, like either way, if you're new or you've been here, thanks for coming. Um, Last week we did not do the video. I know I've been a little spotty lately on these damn videos, and I apologize for that. I'm gonna work on that. Last week I went to a family wedding, and that would be why that didn't quite work out the way I wanted it to. But this week, none of that happened. So I read all of my books, and I'm gonna tell you about them, as always, in beautiful spoilertastic view, beautiful spoilertastic vision, right here, right now. So some stuff that I've done lately, guys. Check out the Bearded and Cole comic cover challenge. I did a version myself. These guys, they do a cover challenge, and they put it up on their, oh my goodness, there we go. Ooh, the viewpoint went all weird on my screen, but I'm good now. Um, they do a cover challenge, and they come up with a theme each time, and they invite you to do the same. And I did that the other day, and I did mine in honor in memoriam of Kevin Conroy, which is basically the voice in all of our heads of Batman. Unfortunately, he passed away a few days ago from cancer at the age of 66. Check out the video. I used the theme was fights for the cover challenge. Which basically you pick something that fits the theme. You pick 10 books that fit the theme, and you record it and you tag people and all that stuff. But mine, in honor of Kevin Conroy, was I picked all Batman covers, or heavily involved with Batman covers. So check it out. I did that a couple days ago, and yeah, obviously we've got What's Happening Wednesday every week, and this past Wednesday we reviewed probably one of the most awful movies, Thanksgiving. It was god awful. Check out our video. Well, you know what I mean. You know what I mean. So, anyways, we're gonna go ahead and get into it because we have quite a few books to get through this week, and like I said, in beautiful spoiler-tastic vision, meaning I'm gonna tell you everything I thought of these, whether it spoils them or not. I don't care. My cat is circling because I've got the earbuds on with the little microphone, and the cord is hanging, so he is circling, and he is getting pets right now. So if I was, yeah, I gotta pet him whenever he comes by, or else he'll get bored and pull on the cord, which is no fun. Let's not do that. Let's not do that, baby boy. River ravioli. Okay. So as always, we start with the book I like the least and work our way up to my pick of the week, my favorite book of the week, and I tell you all about them. So without further ado, let's get into this. I'm going to preface this all by saying, guys, there wasn't anything that I really hated this week. Every once in a while, I will get on the case of some comic and you just go totally for it. This week, I, I mean, I have some criticisms, but I'm still thinking that my criticisms don't damn any of these books. Um, so, yeah, let's go for it. So the first one I want to talk about is the special 30th anniversary special, The Death of Superman one shot. Right here. This I got two copies. Yeah, I did it. I got two copies. The 10.99 price tag. I got this one, and then I also got the black bag with the armband. To be completely honest with you, if you haven't bought the black bag to get the armband, the cover is very nice because it's a special cover inside the black bag. Because yes, I opened it. Um, but in all honesty, the armband is pretty, but it also left something kind of to be desired, honestly. So if you just get one of these, the regular ones, like you're doing good. Unless you really want that armband, because honestly, like it's not really even like that long to be able to tie it someplace, and it's not like it has like velcro on it or anything, so you can't like I feel like maybe it needs some velcro, like honestly. um but yeah, so this is just I believe the cover A, um by Dan Jurgens, Brett Breeding, and Brad Anderson. And it's you got some front and back action here. Okay. Um the criticisms I have for the book. There are four stories in it. One criticism I have that kind of ties. How about I go like this? Um, there was no Bibbo story. None. There was none. There was no Bibbo to speak of throughout the whole goddamn book. I feel for a 10.99 price tag, we should have gotten some, but we didn't. And so that's one thing. And that kind of ties into my other criticisms, or at least one of my other criticisms of the anthology collection of stories. One of which is um, we have two different tales of two different characters trying to get to the center of the action, trying to get there to help Superman. One is Guardian, and two is John Henry. Okay, so it's two different tales of two different people, two different heroes trying to get to Superman to help him fight Doomsday, and getting there too late. Um, I think maybe we could have had one of those tales and made room for a Bibbo tale. Um, I personally, my personal opinion here, because this is all about my personal opinion here, okay? My personal opinion is we didn't really need the one about the Guardian. I think that the better placement of a story like that would have been John Henry's story. I definitely would have kept that, and replaced the Guardian story with a Bibbo story, and that would have been perfection. Especially considering the um, John Henry story, the character of John Henry has had more recent interaction with the Superman story, Action Comic story, where he was in War World, liberating War World. Um, the last criticism I have of this is I really wasn't feeling the Ma and Pa Kent story. Now, here's the thing. I do think there needs to be, with something like this, a Ma and Pa Kent story. That is a given, a requirement. But I don't think I would have gone the direction that they did, where it's basically Ma and Pa Kent are watching on TV, um, like everything that's happening to their son, and they're watching the Doomsday Fight. One, we have we seem to have this like the artistic choice of how Ma and Pa Kent are presented. I didn't necessarily agree with that, because Ma and Pa Kent are it's like one of these things where it's like, if you look at the way they're presented there, like supposedly like a number of years ago, versus the way they look now, in books that they've appeared in recently. We actually have another one that they've appeared in this week. Okay, at least Pa Kent is in that one, and it's totally like a whole like Benjamin Button kind of situation, where they look much older in this story, in the special that supposedly is taking place during the time period of the Doomsday Fight, versus the way they are constantly portrayed in Superman Son of Kal-El, especially. So that plus the idea that they're sitting there distracting themselves, talking about random things that their son has done. Um, the way it's written, the way that the story is written, it kind of confused me on some of the things that they were listing that he had done. Um, it seems like they were listing that he went and liberated Warworld, like the thing that he just did, um, in this story that takes place in the past. Yeah, it didn't work for me. For those reasons. Now, if I'm misunderstanding it and somebody wants to tell me, no, Carrie misunderstood, please tell me. Please tell me. Though most of my other criticisms would probably still stand. Do I think this needed to be 1099? You're getting a lot of stories. You're getting a lot of pages. You're getting a lot of content for that 1099, but like anyone else would probably say, you need to be a Superman fan. Also, in particular, maybe a person that um, I don't want to say fan of the death of Superman. I don't know if anyone really. I mean, if you're a fan of the story, the death of Superman and his return, um, yeah, that's that's something for you. But anything beyond that, no, not really. It's we're a household that loves Superman, so it was something that we had to get. So the next book I'm going to talk to you about today is Blood Syndicate Season 1, Ender number 6. The reason why this is here's the criticism I have involving Blood Syndicate Season 1 as a whole, not necessarily season or episode issue 6. Issue 6 brought everything to a head and together and ended season 1 well. I love the fact that they did not kill off Tech 9. Yes, they didn't kill off Tech 9 this time. It looked like they were going to, and then um, time was warped backwards, and they were able to do stuff and come out on top in the end. There's some really great moments involving that, because the main baddie that they're going after is named Holocaust, and I really absolutely loved when Tech 9 was like, you're calling yourself Holocaust. Anyone tell you what happened to the pendejos who did anything like that before? Like, I was like, yeah, yeah, motherfucker. Okay, so I love the interaction at the end with Icon and Rocket. Basically, Tech Nine is sitting there and being like, you know what works for you works for you, but here's the deal. This is Paris Island. This is our place. We know what works for us, and we're going to do whatever we can to make this a good place. And Paris Island is under the watchful eye of the Blood Syndicate. And I love the whole, like, I love the whole, like, we're on the same side, but we're not doing things the same way kind of thing. And I like that kind of interaction, that that conflict of practice and procedure, the conflict of policy and procedure, um, having that conflict of policy and procedure with two people or two groups of people looking to do similar things, and that I like that kind of conflict because it's like, yeah, it's like that. It's there's a conflict of policy and procedure between the two groups. You have Blood Syndicate and Icon and Rocket, and I like that. Now, my major criticism is that we spent a number of issues, and I gotta tell you, I really like I held on, and I held on with this one because I feel like it's important to really support creators like Milestone as much as I can. And considering Blood Syndicate is the first the first book and series that really interests me, that I was able to get in and just be like, okay, here's my ground level. I'm here, and I'm reading this. I'm doing what I can, and to be completely honest with you, I just was not getting it in the beginning. Now, with that said, the last couple issues, they've been pulling it together, and it's made a lot more sense to me, and I am on board for season 2 whenever that starts or comes out. So overall, I was into it in the end, definitely. And I'm so glad they didn't kill Tech 9 in this version. I'm so glad. I like Tech 9 a lot. He's cool. So the next book I'm going to talk to you about is The New Golden Age One Shot by Jeff Johns, and cast of characters. Lots of names on this list, guys. But Jeff Johns wrote the script, and I have a feeling that so we're following a number of different, a couple different stories here that are looking to interconnect and kind of start to connect by the end of the book, um, where we have a callback to the idea of Huntress being not Helena Bertinelli, but Helena Wayne, the daughter of Bruce and Selena. And we have the JSA with something and being messing with every incarnation of Dr. Fate um, through the ages, like every so many 100 years or so, another one, every so many, and eventually this same redheaded being that's horribly affecting all these different Dr. Fates is also stalking Helena Wayne throughout her life. And it also gets into how she found out that her dad was Batman, it gets into how what happened when she was there and who came to the house to tell her and her mother, Selena Kyle, obviously, um, that her father had been killed. So, and at that point, she's like, no matter what my mother wants, because Selena didn't want her involved in that life. Selena was like, no, not my daughter, you know? Um, she's just like, regardless of what my mother wants or thinks, I am now a huntress. And I'm going to find who killed my father. And yeah. Um, there are points of this story that I think probably will make more sense. Um, I saw characters represented in the story that I had seen in art that was present in the Flashpoint Beyond stories that Jeff Johns just wrote. I do have all the issues for that, but I haven't read it. I think I'm going to have to read that now. I was planning on reading it anyways. A lot of those issues I got because I really loved the cover B. Like, there's some really awesome cover B work on there, and I'll probably do a video talking about reading Flashpoint Beyond and my reaction to it. Um, but there were characters, and not necessarily characters, but people represented people present in this book that I just read that I know that I've seen in artwork for that took place in Flashpoint Beyond. So um, there was some jumping around involving time periods that I will have to say that it looks like Jeff Johns handled it better than some other writers currently working do. Um, that was clear. Like, I didn't have any problems differentiating any of that. And I think maybe once the new series, the JSA series starts, um, and also the Lost Children Stargirl series starts, which I already have sitting over there. Some of this might become a little bit clearer to me than it is right now. Despite that, it's a solid story, written really well. Time jumps written really well. Like, there is no question, where we're going with any of this. So that is either really great writing and really great editing, or one or the other, or, both of them put together. Either way, it's a solid book. It definitely entertained me. I didn't hate it, and I'm definitely probably going to pick up that JSA. Like I said, I already have the Stargirl one. It's happening. It's happening, folks, and I'm going to have to read that Flashpoint Beyond to I think get a little bit more information. Um yeah, it's happening. So guys, we have a new limited series that I've been waiting for some time. Wildcats #1. Guys, this is awesome. If you recall, I love Grifter. Grifter is one of those characters that I definitely latched onto right away when I was reading Batman Urban Legends, the first 6 issues of Batman Urban Legends. One of the stories involved our buddy here, Grifter. So Grifter is working with the Wildcats. The Wildcats are trying to find a scientist to help with whatever they are doing right now. And basically this issue is them trying to work that out and failing. Right in the beginning, it got me where, like, they're sitting there and, well, they're in a lab, and the scientist is like, here, see what I can do. And the scientist is like, it's a eco-terrorist organization. The scientist presses a button or something, right? And basically causes a lot of pain and damage and death of an animal. And Grifter's like, what, did you really just do that? And then shoots him and kills him. Um like Grifter's not hanging out with that kind of shit. Um Grifter is a character that is still, if you know much about the history of Grifter, he is still being haunted in this issue by his brother. Um, either actually haunted, or there's some head stuff going on with Grifter where um, they he was in a bar and he ended up in a bar fight because somebody insulted the memory of his brother. um so there's that, but they end up in the situation where the Wildcats are trying to find a scientist. And I think that I have this theory involving the Wildcats situation. Okay, guys, so mark this now. Today, November 13th, 2022. My theory is we have the same writer working, that's Rosenberg, writing the script for Wildcats. Okay? As the person, he also wrote the script to Task Force Z. Now, what do they need? They need a scientist. What do they need it for? I'm not completely sure. But there's scientists involving Task Force C. We were given the indication at the end of the series Task Force C that that was not the last we had seen of Task Force Z. And I think I'm gonna have to sit here and say that I would not be surprised at all if we had some Task Force Z interaction, and that would not upset me at all because I liked it. I did really like it. I like the whole dynamic that we were ending with that series of is Two-Face, you know, does he have it together? Is he Harvey Dent or is he Two-Face? What is really going on there? Um, and what are his plans involving the Task Force Z? Um, but we'll have to see what happens there. Okay, so the next one on the hit parade here is I Am Batman number 15. Yeah, 15. Um, Jace Fox's Batman in New York City has been kind of trying to keep to himself. Meaning, when he was approached by John Kent to join the fray of Dark Crisis, he refused. That's not my fight. I'm not a part of it. I don't want to be a part of any team. Blah blah blah. And he's like, he rejected the request to join them. Okay. So when he rejected the request to join them, he went on about his merry little business. In the last issue, when it ended, Jace Fox, it looked like he had just killed one of the police officers that he had been working with. And what really happens, you find out, is Sinestro. Like, it's not a fake out that he's on the cover here, guys. Not a fake out at all, because he definitely has shown up. Sinestro is working with the Army of the Darkness, with Pariah, and is going after Jace Fox as Batman. Yeah, basically, Sinestro is on a contract going after Jace Fox, has been given some extra special abilities and gifts, and is manipulating how Jace Fox is seeing things. And he has to think about how he's seeing things, and he has to kind of get through the mirage of what he's being shown and defeat Sinestro. So he does, and he's just like, okay, so here's the thing. He figures out Sinestro has come to because of Pariah, because of the army of the darkness, and he's like, okay, so I just, I wanted to just not have anything to do with this, but you know what? I'm regretting that decision now. And at the end of the issue, you have Jace Fox heading off to join the fray of the new Justice League, to fight with them against the army of the darkness. Hells yeah. I'm a little bit disappointed that we couldn't hold off on this just a little bit, so that, because one of the things that started developing in the last issue was the storyline of Tiffany Fox kind of going off on her own and being her own kind of vigilante. Um, and I really was just like, okay, really interested to see how that develops. And I was really hoping that we would have gotten to see a little bit more of that before something like this happened, if it was to happen at all. But oh well, we're here now. Hopefully they don't forget about that, because I want to see where that goes. So hopefully they don't forget about that. Hopefully they don't forget about the fact that they were about ready to make Tiffany Fox his Robin. So his air quotes Robin. Hopefully they don't forget about that. We have what we got. We got 3 books left, guys. So hang in there with me. This is next one we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about Batman versus Robin #3. Really emotional book, guys. If you've been reading this, you know they were kind of fooling with us, making us think that Alfred was alive. Okay. Okay. All right. Alfred was not alive. But, so, Batman and Faux Alfred, okay, were headed to Lazarus Island to face Damien and all of his cohorts. As you may know, if you've been following the book, Damien is under some mind control from Mother Soul and Nezha, the demon Nezha, and they're trying to make him a new Batman and kill Bruce Wayne. Yeah. And the last thing we saw in the series, in the last issue, was that Alfred was not who we thought he was. We also saw that Damien had his great grandmother, Mother Soul, had given him the present of a group of sidekicks, namely mind-controlled versions of Dick Grayson, Jason Todd, Tim Drake, and Stephanie Brown. And it is them. They are mind-controlled. This is what we find out in this issue from this past week. It is really them. They are mind-controlled, and they are all given weapons to go fight Bruce Wayne, to go fight Batman. Even in this series, you know that, like, Damien's favorite has to be Dick Grayson, because he gets a really cool, he gets Azrael's sword. Okay? Like, somehow Damien gets a hold of Azrael's sword, and it's gives it to Dick Grayson to use. So you have these, like, it's like this labyrinth. It's not a labyrinth, but it's almost like a mental labyrinth that Batman has to go through. He leaves Alfred at the plane, you know, faux Alfred, right? At the plane, and he goes on this mental labyrinth. Like not an actual labyrinth because it's not an actual maze, but it's a labyrinth of emotion and your mind. Because and I'm gonna and I'm gonna stick by this because he has to go through the situation where he is meeting up with each of his Robins. And like you start with Tim Drake, and the character and Tim Drake is airing his grievances, okay, and fighting him. So Batman has to think about that, and you have this narration from Batman involving that. Batman knocks out Tim Drake, has to encounter Stephanie Brown. She airs her grievances. Batman has to think about that, defeat her, and then he gets to Jason Todd. Jason Todd gets to air his grievances. Batman fights him and has to think about that. And then he gets to Dick Grayson. Dick Grayson gets to air his grievances. But at that time, Alfred shows up and ends up getting stabbed by the sword. Alfred. But it's because Batman puts him and moves him in front of the sword because Batman apparently knew the whole time that it was not actually Alfred. Now here's the catch. In order for the demon and Mother Soul and all of them to produce a even somewhat believable version of Alfred, to actually be able to do it, they had to take the essence of Alfred's soul and use it in their concoction, right? So once the demon leaves that whole faux Alfred, right? All that's left is that essence of Alfred. And there's this absolutely emotional moment with Alfred and Bruce. And just as Alfred's leaving, you know, he's just like, you know, they have this little heart to heart where Alfred's like, you know, I knew what I was doing. Don't blame yourself. Don't let anyone blame themselves for what happened to me. Do not rob me of my agency. I knew what I was doing. I knew who I was. I knew the situation. And I wouldn't trade it. And the last thing Alfred says before he fades away is that Bruce's parents send their love. It's a very emotional moment. Very emotional. Some other stuff happens involving the idea that maybe the psychic hold on Damien might be waning quite a bit, or at least a little bit, because he's asking questions now and not just kind of blindly doing everything. You have the circumstance, everything happening there where they're gathering power in Dr. Fate's helmet. They're gathering magic energy from magic users and implanting it in there. So whatever's going to happen, it's going to happen, and it's going to be interesting. So, whew. Okay, so the next two books that we're going to talk about here, two very important books, I think, and I want to talk about this one first. So the next to last book that I'm going to talk to you about today is Superman, Son of Kal-El, number 17. This book is not only important as progressing the story, but it's important. It's an important thing. It is if anybody had any kind of uncertainty in their head of exactly where DC Comics and DC Entertainment as a whole stood with the idea that way far back ago in the beginning of this series, near the beginning of the series, that John Kent came out as bisexual. If there was any kind of like idea in anyone's brain that this was not something that was really all that important to the storytelling, as far as DC Comics was concerned, was blown away with this issue. This is an important moment in comic book history because a son came out to his father that happened to be Superman. Both of them happened to be Superman. And Superman, Prime Clark Kent, said in no uncertain words, "I will always love and protect you because you're my son. I've got your back." I don't even know what else to say involving that except that it is clear and concise and to the point. Batman is with, or excuse me, Superman is with you. Batman's with you too. I mean, because, you know, Tim Drake, he knows about that. But Superman is with you, and Superman cares about you. Which means DC Comics is with you, and DC Comics cares about you. But more importantly, this iconic character that's been around since 1938, guys, he cares about you. And he has your back. And he loves you. It's a very important issue. If you are someone that supports the LGBTQ community as such as I do, if you're someone that is LGBTQ and you're watching this and maybe you haven't read Superman Son of Kal-El at all, this is, you can read this issue and you can read this outside the context of the entire series. You really can. And it could really be something special for you. I know that if I'm just an ally, guys. Like, that's just me. I'm just an ally. And as an ally, I'm sitting here and I'm seeing the importance of it for you. And I'm telling you, like, it is $4 well spent. And you're getting a damn fine book either way. That writing, Tom Taylor's writing, the Tom Taylor, Tormey, Coleman, Fajara Jr., all them, perfect. That cover is Travis Moore and Tamra Bonvillain. Um, Tamra Bonvillain is LGBTQ. It's very important that they are on this book. So not only are you supporting a LGBTQ story, an LGBTQ character, you're also supporting the work of an LGBTQ artist. Just on that purchase alone. So we've got the last book of the evening, the one that really just impressed me the most of the week, and that's going to be Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths, number 6 or 7. It's going down. It's going down, guys, and it's just our heroes have made it, have come together, have figured out and everything, and the jig is up. They are on their way back, but the army of darkness, led by Deathstroke, is fighting our heroes that are still on Earth, and Pariah is moving his plan forward. Um, and it's some craziness. It's some craziness here. There's some really absolutely powerful moments in this book. One of those moments should have hit harder, except for the fact that we had just had a moment that hit so fucking hard that it's just insane. So it is not looking good for our heroes at a particular moment in this book. And they just need time. They just need more time than they have because everything keeps coming at them. They kept coming at them, kept coming at them. Batman, Jace Fox's Batman gets there and he's helping out. So really cool, right? So like heroes are getting hit left and right. They just don't have time. They need time. And Yara says, Yara Floor, it's like we know something he doesn't know. If we make him see the truth about the great darkness, maybe it will give us the opening we need to stop him. But we need time, someone to. And then John just flies off like I got this, guys. And she's like, John, what are you doing? So, and he says, a job for Superman, and that kicks off the most insane moments in this book. The most insane moments in this book. Because he's like, a job for Superman, and he goes right into the biggest badasses and just starts fighting all of them. And they say, the son of Superman's efforts will be in vain. Yes, yes, you're right. The Justice League rejected the worlds I created for them. Let's see how the rest of these heroes fare. And like Yara's going after Pariah, trying to get him to see the truth, and John is just sitting there fighting. Black Adam's like, if today we die, I will die fighting. And like everything's just popping off, and you like every other panel, like every couple panels is showing what John is doing, and he's fighting like 4 or 5 beings. One of them is Darkseid. The other one is Doomsday, guys. That's going to matter something in a moment. He is taking a beating. He is getting their attention. He's taking a beating. He is getting them distracted. Okay? And he starts having these visions, um, where his with his dad, he's like, I want you to understand. I want to help you make that S your own, son. That Superman S his own. And it's just showing him fighting, and it's showing him with his mom. You have the best of both worlds inside of you. You can be great. And he's just like, you can be great, choose to be. And there's this moment right here. He is like getting ripped up, right? Like I like seriously, just the visuals, not even like taking into account like everything else is happening. He's just like, they go and they finally get him, Pariah, you know, he gets completely like ripped to shreds, knocked about. They got Pariah, They got him, you know, encaptured, right? They accomplish, you know, what they needed to with that. And then John is just standing there, like kneeling on the ground. And my God, he's kneeling on the ground. This is so. God, if you're not reading this, guys, you are missing out. He is kneeling. He has taken the beating of his fucking life. He's so young still. He's taken the beating of his life, and he did it all so that they would have enough time to get some kind of upper hand, so that it's something. I need a drink of water. I'm getting really into this. He is taking the beating of his life. He is getting beat up by both Darkseid and freaking Doomsday at the same time. If you're not even taking into account the other people, the other characters all around beating on him. Just Darkseid and Doomsday taking turns hitting the crap out of him. John Kent is taking the absolute fucking beating of his life, guys. And they're able to pull off what they really needed to buy more time, to make some kind of progress. John ends up completely hammered. He's kneeling there, and he's like, I did it. Like, Black Adam's headed towards him, trying to get to him. He gets knocked off, you know, and he can't get to him. Like, he's just like, I bought them time. He's got blood all over him. And you see this right here. You're looking at this page. This is how you're reading it. You're looking at this and like, he says, I hope you're proud of me, Dad. He's got Doomsday. Motherfucking Doomsday hitting right straight at him. Naratu Run coming at fucking John Kent, kneeling, bloody, practically broken. It is not looking good at all for John Kent at all. And then you just turn the fucking page. He is ready to fucking die at that moment. He is just he's just like, I've sacrificed it all just to try to save this because my dad's gone, my dad's dead. I'm sacrificing it all right here. Hopefully something good can come out of it. You remember how I said the heroes had found some way to get home? You turn that page, and Papa's there. Not today, Doomsday. Never again. Seriously, read the shit, man. Read it, because I had to read that part like a few times. And here comes all the heroes. Here they all are. With with all the Green Lanterns that helped them get back. Like, that part of the story too. It's like, whoa, okay. We followed the light. And you have like Yara and Nubia's there. Yeah. Man, and you have Black Canary seeing Roy for the first time alive. Um, the problem is, oh my God, guys, Ollie's nowhere to be found. Ollie doesn't appear to have made it through at this point. and they're still fighting everything, and the pariah is gone, but the army of darkness is still going strong, and this is the end. You have Deathstroke holding both his daughter Ravenger and Nightwing by the neck. Not done until all of you are dead. So I'll tell you one thing. I'm scared for Nightwing right now. What's gonna happen there? But not necessarily horribly scared for him. I'm worried about Ravenger right now because I don't think Daddy really gives two shits about her. Um, a lot of evidence to that within the comic book series, any series. A lot of evidence to that. Daddy doesn't give much to Ravenger, and plus he has this whole viewpoint of no legacy heroes, and he may feel that way about her, or there's a possibility that the darkness, the great darkness, has promised him something that he wants even more, which would possibly be his son. Um, maybe. So we'll have to see what happens there. We have a couple spin-offs and one more main issue left in that one. Um, so yeah, emotional issue. Obviously, I got a little emotional there talking about it, but it's because, guys, like, if you sit there and you're reading it, you're just like, wow. And it's one of those, it's set up in that way where it's like you turn the page and Daddy's home. Um, so, yeah, that's it. That's it. That's all the comics I read. Anyways, guys, okay. So, yeah, that's comics I read. Anyways, so um what do we got going on next week? We've got the Stargirl book next week. That's going to be interesting. I've been reading another trade. Maybe I can finish that. I'm also going to very soon be reading that Flashpoint Beyond that's sitting right over there. And we'll see. We'll see. This Wednesday, we're going to do obviously our What's Happening Wednesday. We have plans to watch a certain movie on YouTube, though. Yeah, so we'll see where that goes. If any changes happen to that situation, I'll be sure to post it to social media so that if you want to follow along, you can. If you want to watch along, you can before you watch or listen to the show. So until then, guys, thank you so much. Keep reading those comic books. Keep on supporting the channel, supporting yours truly. Um, Follow me on social media at Carrie Q Author on Twitter, um, at Officially Unofficial Geek on Instagram, and I'll be seeing you guys. Bye.